You're listening to 182.3, Care What People Think.
Welcome back to the Care What People Think podcast. Hopefully you had a great day, great evening, whenever you're listening to this, a great morning, great drive to work, drive to school. And today we're going to So Ryan was supposed to talk in that gap because we're talking about the importance of communication. And that silence was I think I did, but I didn't expect you to jump on top of my joke. The whole point is that communication is important. And that was a really cringy and awkward silence. And it could have been longer. But one of us decided to step in and communicate. Yeah.
Exactly. Communication would have filled the gap. It would have been cool. But instead it was cringy. You probably crashed your car while you were listening to this podcast. I'm so sorry. But I've listened to this. I've listened to our podcast in my car. And I can just imagine hearing... like, what the fuck? And they're like trying to click play and then pause. They're just like spamming it.
They turn it
what the hell happened? Jump scare, bitch. All right. Oh my god.
But yeah, as normal tradition goes, I'm going to be talking about a thing I'm proud about for this week, which recorded this episode in advance, so this isn't, I guess, this still relates, but I don't know the full story. But what I'm proud about is the Euros have actually already ended when this comes out by quite a while now. But I obviously love soccer. Ryan loves soccer. I just know that I usually don't keep up with it as much compared to when I had cable. And now that I moved out, I don't have cable because I just have streaming services and YouTube. But I did want to watch the Euros really badly. And I'm someone that's like, fuck paying a fee for a service. I had Spotify with ads for 2 whole years straight. Yes, you heard that right, because I refuse to pay fucking money. And so when the Euros were like, hey, you stream them, I was like, okay, I'm going to go and look up where I can stream them. Not illegally, but like where I can actually just find them. Like I'll pay whatever fee. Literally, Fox doesn't have a place to watch them online. You have to go through Fubo TV, which whatever that was is just dumb. And I actually paid for the subscription for a month, which is crazy because I wouldn't normally do that. And yeah, it was $115 for a month, which is fucking nuts. But yeah, I've watched the Euros literally every game I watch because when I'm at work, I can have it on and then listen while I'm designing because I'm doing like graphic design based work. So I'm not like editing a video, listening to audio, or at least I schedule that for once the game's over. But I've literally watched every game, I think besides like 3. And I feel like that's just, I don't know, personal growth for like spending money on nice things.
Do you regret it?
No, because it's actually been really, first of all, I've watched so much soccer that it's been really nice. Also, Ronaldo, he's getting older. So this is probably, I think I saw he said this is his last Euros. So I'm glad I'm watching it. Obviously, the winner would have been announced by the time this is out. So I'm assuming that Spain are minimum in the final. I'm assuming Spain probably won. Maybe it's like a Spain-France final. I hope, though, Portugal won just for Ronaldo's sake.
Watch Georgia. Georgia probably won, bro.
Oh, yeah. They totally didn't. Yeah. Yeah, they're still in it. Yeah, actually, the group stage just ended, so I'm just calling this from a long shot. But so I'm really proud of that because, again, I don't do that.
That's awesome. Well, very good shit. You got out of your comfort zone, and it seems like it paid off. So, honestly, when it comes to nice things, this doesn't even like relate to the topic. But when it comes to nice things, dude, I just send it at whatever price point for the most part because I know I'm gonna use it, and I know I'm gonna regret it if I don't buy it because I'll just be like, God damn it, I wanted that so bad. Dude, that goes perfectly with like cologne, like that what I just said. Dude, if you buy a shitty like $50 cologne and it lasts, you get like 10 sprays and you're like, oh dude, I should have just spent another $100 and I could have used this for like a year or 2 or whatever. It's like that type of shit, dude. I just invest in like nice things. So I'm glad you didn't try to go on Twitter and try to get shitty streams.
Just watch highlights or something. Yeah,
exactly. All right, well, to start talking about the actual episode, we want to understand clear communication and what that means. So without communication, nothing will get done, and you might have an awkward silence in your podcast. And you might be stepping on toes when you just don't communicate. When you're
Like
trying
this,
to get,
for example.
ain't no way, bro.
And that, for example.
Ain't no way. And this, for example.
and that, for example. And that one. And that time after that.
So when you're trying to get something done in a timely manner, you need to focus on clarity. So make sure you're not.
Sorry, I was just laughing because I was like a really dumb kid joke, but it did have a point.
Okay, yeah, no, I did have a point.
Yeah.
Bros, I'm just trying to be really awkward right now to like see the communication just decline and see how shit this is. Because make sure you're just not the only one speaking, but also listen to what the other person has to say. Isn't that right, Will? I want to listen to what you're saying. All right, I'm gonna do Will's idea for him. His next.
Yeah. So, along with, how efficient and effective importance of communication. I guess I did talk about this kind of a couple episodes ago, but like, tell someone information. Like, even that sounds stupid as fuck. Just walk up to someone, tell them information. Tell them 3x plus 1 equals 0.
Feed them information. Open their mouth and shove information in. Don't let them do anything else. Just shove it in there.
Bird regurgitate it into the kid because that's how baby birds work. Yeah, no. Basically, if you are going to assume information, they have that whole saying where it's like it makes an ass out of you and me, but like actually overly say information again. For me, if it's planning, like if it's like, okay, our flight is at this time, we got to be there this early, we got to leave at this time, and then before you go to bed, got to leave at this time, wake up, we got to leave at this time. Like just overly stuff, just because the worst that comes from that is you may sound annoying. Now, credit, I would like to add that this is probably something you should do with people that you are closer to or you care about. Because obviously, if you just show up to goddamn English class, if you can show up to English class and you're like every 5 minutes being like, guys, the homework was actually problems 5 through 10 instead of 1 through 5.
Why does that sound like something you would do?
So don't do that, because may or may be not from personal experience, nobody cares to hear that. And like, then people are just gonna not like, I don't know, in my experience, just saying it to people that don't give a shit, they're just going to label you as annoying and then listen to nothing you have to say, even when you do have valuable information to say. But like, if it's something you're talking about with a family member or a closer friend where it's like, dude, I'm telling you this multiple times because it is important. Like, for example, we cannot miss a flight. And just along with like verbal language, also like not just speaking, but body language is super, super important. So understanding that for social settings is I guess kind of like subconscious aspect of communication. Because obviously talking about like one of the episodes about making friends, meeting new people, like Ryan said, you have to be approachable. If you're going to sit at a restaurant alone and you have your hoodie on and AirPods in and you're on your phone and you're in the corner, kind of it just doesn't look like you want to be talked to. And that's just not, it's not verbal. That's literally just, it's communicating through your body language. So no matter what it is, whether it's verbal, body language, it's all important, and it allows people either to come in and talk to you and greet you, and maybe they meet you and become your new friend, or it can turn people away.
Totally. Going a little bit back, you know how you said where you're really like on somebody's ass when it's important. You're like really telling somebody something so they don't mess it up, right? Or miss the flight or whatever. I've had that happen with my like close friends when we've been like traveling and we have an Airbnb, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll let you do the Airbnb, right? So they're the ones like mainly communicating with the host. And this has happened before where like I don't even think about it and I don't say anything about it, and then the Airbnb host just kind of fucked us over, because not even fucked us over, but our check-in time we didn't even realize, but it was like 5 p.m. instead of like a normal 2 p.m. So we were just sitting outside at a cafe with our luggage for about 4 hours, and that was And I'm not saying like it was the end of the world. It was 4 hours, but it was also like I wasn't in charge, and I didn't feel like it was necessary to tell them something, because I was like, well, I'll just come off annoying, and I felt like it would just be just annoying, and I just didn't do it, and I got bit in the ass for it. I'm not saying it was that one of my friends' fault by any means either. It was just more the lack of communication, and so it's very important just to like, tell others, restating something when it's super crucial. Also, you talked about non-verbal communication. You talked about body language, but also there is multiple things like tone of voice and eye contact, which are, I think,
Facts.
just as important, if not more important. Tone of voice could be something as, like, you could come off and just have immediate, like, what's the word? But you could just
Magnifying
talk like
glass.
Yeah, magnifying glass. Thank you.
Last
Thank
week.
you. Bro, if anybody gets that joke, you actually should put a magnifying glass emoji in the comments. That is hilarious. You're an OG. That is awesome. For tone of voice, if you are all monotone and you go, yes, like, it was
Actually,
good.
do that right now. Introduce the podcast episode in different, like, the
Gotcha.
tones you were going to talk
All
about.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see which one's most
Hello,
interesting.
hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Care What People Think podcast. I'm Ryan.
Power off.
And
Not the yawn.
as always, I'm here with my... Yeah, see? And then, okay, I want to do it normally. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Care What People Think podcast. I'm Ryan, and it's... Dude.
Yeah.
Completely different. And I'm not saying if you're really just not trying to meet anyone, if you're not trying to communicate for whatever reason, do the first one. But body
It's
language...
easiest.
Yeah, no, like, literally just, like, maintain good body language. Just have your shoulders up a little bit. Be nice and, like, energetic a little bit when you're talking. And this is the biggest one, in my opinion, eye contact. And I say this from personal experience because, not to out anyone, but my ex would always avoid eye contact. And at first, I thought it was, like, kind of weird, and I'm like, oh... I was like, okay, she's just, like, shy or whatever.
She just doesn't like you. Could you imagine?
She just doesn't even know my first name. She's like, eh.
She's like, is that your boyfriend?
Who the hell is that? He's just been following me.
You just dated Tina. You just dated fucking Tina. I'm on the ground.
I love Tina from Bob's Burgers.
That's
Either
crazy.
way, at first I was like, you give her the benefit of the doubt, right? And this was before we were dating, and I was like, okay, she's just, like, shy and stuff. And then I realized that it was, like, more, like, self-conscious and, like, her own, like, confidence within herself, which, sure, it's fine and all, but then I realized it impacted our conversations about, like, our future and about us, and I even felt weird. So not saying it was, like, necessarily just her fault, but at the same time I could tell that it was a very big impact with our communication style, and honestly was one of the reasons why she is my ex to this day. So
Damn.
yeah.
Well, and I mean, in general, communication is used for literally everything in life. So again, like you said, if it's nonverbal, if it's verbal, just interacting with another person, there is communication there. And the better that you can be at it, improve at it, understand it, literally the better you're gonna be, or I guess the more effective you'll be in your everyday life, since it's used every day. So if you like are like, I suck at answering emails or something, with like teachers, we'll do it in a school situation, because I just know that my mom was super like a big advocate for, like, oh, if you don't understand an assignment and you ask someone, just email the teacher. Like, they will be surprised that you even reached out and emailed, which is crazy, because that's like the bare minimum effort, in my opinion, once you get to college. It's like, bro, if I don't understand something, I'm going to tell you I don't understand it. Because guess what? Now I don't have to do the fucking assignment, because now the ball is in the court of the teacher, and if they don't respond to me, then boom, I can show up to class and not have to do the fucking assignment. That's how you get away in school without doing work.
And you're the one paying them, so
Oh yeah, kind of facts.
you can corner them. You can be like, well, I'm gonna write you a nasty email to whatever college, and I'm gonna put you on Rate My Professor as a 1.5 star. How do you feel about that? Give me that A.
But like that, but that's actually, like, say that situation of, like, you are like bad at, like, you just, I don't know, say you don't like if you don't understand work, you just don't do it. That's like your kind of habit. If you get better and better at like sending emails and stepping up for when you are confused, that literally will transfer over to a work environment. So if you get a job in the future or whatever and you don't understand, you're already in the habit of sending an email because you don't understand. And people will, first of all, your coworkers will appreciate the fuck out of you for that, because they'll be like, oh, so-and-so didn't just show up and didn't do anything of like work they were assigned to do. And they actually, like, they feel more like a teammate rather than someone I have to like care for. So people around you will appreciate it, which in general will be more, I mean, you'll work better and more efficiently with your coworkers, but they'll also like you more because you're fucking doing shit. You're working, you're doing, especially like if you're doing a group project in like school, that shit sucks. If you're doing a group project right now in school, well, first of all, you're not, unless you're in Australia because it is summer. But if you're about to, when you're listening to this, that shit sucks. And sometimes you really can't do anything about it. I definitely was the kid that always did 95% of the work of the project. And it sucks. And you usually, I mean, I was a fucking little, sometimes tattletale. I'd literally be like, no, I wouldn't tattletale, but like they would give a review being like, how much work did each person do on a scale of 1 to 5? And I was fucking honest. I'd literally
Will would go 0.
No, literally, I'd be like 5 for 2 people that actually did shit. Even if they did like a 3, I'd be like, they did something. And then I'd give someone that did nothing, I give them a 0. And I'm like, they should not get a fucking grade. I don't know anything about them, but I know they're not fucking helping on this project. So now that relationship goes between the teacher and the student. No longer my problem.
What was episode 13? Didn't we talk about empathy and compassion?
I think so.
Yeah, so...
oh, yeah, well, fuck people. Nope, I'm working on a school project.
Well, Will's two-faced. If you ever see Will in public, just remember, he's not what he is on the podcast. He's a piece of shit.
Remember,
fuck you,
he doesn't
0.
care what people think. Oh, damn.
Well, that's actually a good thing. So.
But it's important. It's important.
It is. And I remember you bringing up a point about coworkers, right? And how if you contribute even a little bit and you email or whatever it is to like just, get the job done, make it a little bit easier for everyone else, that is so important. I've mentioned that I'm a server at Texas Roadhouse. And, it attracts like a lot of different people. It's a serving job at the end of the day. But when I have a shift, right, when I walk around the alleyway and I see my coworkers standing there and I'm like, oh my gosh, there are so many good ones, or oh my gosh, there are so many bad coworkers on that day. Dude, it changes my mood.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
No, it's that, and then it changes my productivity at work too, because either I'm carrying all the weight or I'm doing a normal amount. Like, for example, we have these food running tickets where every single entree comes out in the back on like it's basically on this like little shelf, and let's just say you have like a tray, it has a little ticket with it, and you're supposed to be running about 30 food running tickets throughout the night, right?
Yeah.
Most servers usually hit that, if not go above, including me. I'm not even trying to like be like, well, I'm really good, I just do my job. Other people go on their phone or go in the back and vape and just don't even like hit 10 food running tickets.
10?
That's what I'm saying. It's like a 5-hour shift, 4 or 5 hour shift. And I get it if you're hella busy and you're like really like you're getting shit on with like large parties, right? But there are people that I used to work with and still work with that just did not pull their weight. And I'm not even going to out people because like it wasn't really that bad, but at that, like, it did affect our like work. It really
But at the end of the day, you're giving him a 0.
No, I'm not giving them a 0. I'm not outing them like that. But it really did.
Oh,
like,
damn.
it affected productivity, and like it didn't feel as nice to like work with them because I was like, why the hell do I have to work so hard? We're getting paid the same. And also, if you're one of those people, just like keep on working on communication, and like even if you are struggling, like just keep at it, because I think I have gained so much perspective. Whether that's like a random ass interview with a company and I thought I botched it, and maybe I did, I might have sucked like terribly, but I tried and I am bettering myself, and I think I've done a lot better with that. So yeah, just keep trying is what I'm trying to get at. And I also want to bring up that we talked about empathy 2 episodes ago. It is also one of the biggest things when communicating, talking, listening to another person. We could go even more into that, but it is so important.
Listening.
So important.
Yeah. No, that I literally couldn't agree more, because that you just shit on the morale in a social setting if you're just not. You don't have to be working, but like if you're not communicating, because for example, if you came into work and you're like, hey, something, I don't know, like something traumatic happened, like I literally, there's a fucking flood in your house. I don't know, some random shit. If you tell people at work that, then when you're not productive, they will understand the situation you're in, and they'll probably be like, okay, fucking go home and figure that out.
Agreed.
Versus like if you just show up and you have an attitude, which you rightfully and validly have an attitude, people are gonna be like, what the fuck is this? So just communicating at all times, which sounds cliche, but like if you feel it, then say it. That's to an extent. Don't do that. Don't do that with everything.
I was thinking so many things.
If you feel like someone is not listening to you, if you don't feel heard, if you don't feel like you aren't standing up for yourself,
Then give them a 0.
Yeah, give them a 0, and then once the class leaves, you can actually tell your teacher who the fuck it is.
You tattletale. Dude, your skin is probably so slimy, bro.
No. I never did that. Never did that.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that's all for today's episode. We hope that you found our discussion on the importance of communication very helpful. And not the first part, not going to lie. We had a lot of pauses because, yeah, communication jokes. Remember, communication is key in every aspect of life. So take the time to improve and understand it. Don't forget to tune in to next week for an episode of Care What People Think. And actually, please leave a review or rating of your favorite platform. And it really means the world for us. So thank you for listening. And remember, care what people think, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week on 182.3.